Good morning, class. Today we will work on our autobiographical poem and talk a little bit about color poems. Before I start, I just want to share a couple of terms with you, a couple poetry terms. You'll need to know these for second grade, but I just wanted to share them with you. So, poems are broken up into lines, and a line is just a row of words. And the rows, each row is one line. So sometimes a line will be a complete sentence. Sometimes there will be more than one sentence in a line, or sometimes a line won't even be a complete sentence. They're just the row of words across. That should be pretty easy for us to get. Another term in poetry is called a stanza. And the stanzas are the paragraphs in poems. And as you can see here, this poem has two stanzas and it's separated by a space. So think of the stanzas as a paragraph in poetry. I know stanza is probably a new word that you haven't heard of. You've probably heard of the word line. A line in poetry is just a cross, and stanzas are the paragraphs in poems where it's separated by a space. So for this poem, you are going to have two stanzas, and the first line is the most important, I think, in this poem. Poetry, usually the first line and the last line are super important, and you repeat the first line, and it really adds to your poem. So if you're going to spend extra time on something, definitely make sure you think of two great special characteristics you have. And I could go through the whole class and tell you two special characteristics. So if you want to set up a meeting, I would love to work with you, and I know so much about you that I can help you find these two special characteristics. I'm going to say I am, and I think you would all agree with this. I thought of a really good word: passionate and kind. So would you all agree I'm passionate? That means I just care a lot. I am passionate, and I think I am kind. I am very caring and kind. I try to do nice things for people. So these are two special characteristics that I have. I know a lot of you are the same. Try to think of your own, but if you want to use one of mine, that's okay too. So sometimes poetry rhymes, sometimes it doesn't. And I'll show you, I'll try to rhyme my first stanza. You don't have to do that. It might be hard to rhyme it. And that's something that it could take away from your poetry. If you're just trying to rhyme, then it might just sound silly. So I was able to think of some things that I think work, and I made it rhyme. So I wonder, that's just something you're curious about, something you think about. I wonder about the mind. Do you see my rhyme? When there are two lines that rhyme together, it's called a couplet. So I'm going to make my first stanza rhyme with a couplet to start. I hear. What's a sound you often hear? I hear the wind hit the trees. I used a little figurative language. The wind hit the trees. I see leaves shaking free. Notice I did another couplet there. And actually, I'll rhyme this line too. I want. That is just something you want. And be honest in your poetry. It's okay if it's not all positive. I want everyone to like me. And I rhyme that with my other two. So and then I'll repeat my first line. I am passionate and kind. Now, when we are writing poetry, we always read it out loud. Poetry is meant to be spoken. So when you're reading books, it's not always meant to be read aloud. I do read alouds, but books are a little different. Poems, you have to say them out loud because it's music. So you should be rereading and saying them as you write. I am passionate and kind. I wonder about the mind. I hear the wind hit the trees. I see leaves shaking free. I want everyone to like me. I am passionate and kind. So I had some rhyming there. We have our repetition. I really thought of some good characteristics. And then for my second stanza, I pretend. This is something you can be honest about, or you can do whatever you want with it. I pretend I can do it all. That just means I act like I can do everything. And I try to, but I know I'm just pretending. I do a lot of pretending. So I pretend I can do it all. Now let's see. I feel that I can't. Now, I'm not rhyming. You don't have to rhyme. Poems don't have to. I tried it out a little bit in my first stanza, but if you don't want to, don't do it. If you want to try to rhyme a couple lines, do it. I cry. That's something that makes you sad. I cry, I'm going to say, for those left behind. That's very poetic, right? What does that mean? For those left behind. That makes me feel something. I liked saying it that way. I like the way that sounded. For those left behind, I worry my students won't understand. That is something that I worry about. I'm worrying that you won't understand me or that I won't be able to teach you. I dream. So that's something you want to happen. What's your dream? Something you dream of. I dream of what's next. I always dream of what's going to happen in the future, especially now. I dream of what's next. And then I repeat my first line. So I went kind of fast. I did a little bit. I am passionate and kind. So you should be reading your poem as you're writing because poetry is meant to be spoken. You should be taking your time because you're not using as many words. So make sure you find really good characteristics. We learned a little bit about stanzas. They're the paragraphs in poetry. A line is a row of words separated by rows. So that is my I am poem. Keep improving yours if you've already started, or if you haven't started, maybe this will help you. I just wanted to share it with you. And the last thing, and this will be very quick, I shared with you a color poem template, and that is where you just pick a color, and it says pick your favorite color, but I say you just pick whatever color you want, because I think you can write really great poems about the color black or the color white, and usually that's not someone's favorite color. And green is not my favorite color, but I thought of a poem with green. And then you use your senses to finish your poem. So the first line is, you would say your color. Green is the color of money. And then you go into your senses. Green tastes like, and I thought of something that was green, sour apple. So think of something that is your color and what it tastes like. And then think of something that is your color and what it smells like. Green smells like fresh cut grass. I like that smell. And then what does green feel like? Green feels like, and I thought about it like touching, and then I thought about a feeling inside. It feels like greed. And do you know what greed is? That is when you want something. So if you're greedy, you want all the money. And green is the color of money. So for me, green feels like greed. Sorry if this is not showing up that great. I'm kind of just jotting this down. I really want you to do your I am poem. This is something else you can work on if you want. Some of you're all at different spots. So maybe you'll like this type of poetry better. And maybe you want to do this one. So really whatever you want to do. I just wanted to show you more examples. All right, we're almost done. What does it look like? So follow this template that I shared with you. And you can change things around too. Same thing with your I am poem. If you want to get rid of a line or if you don't want to follow it exactly, there's no rules in poetry. Whatever you think works. You don't have to do it exactly like the template. That's there to help you. But if you have a better idea or you want to change it a little bit, I would love that. So green looks like a frog because we're reading Frog and Toad and frogs are green. What does it sound like? Sounds like a lawn mower. And then this line, green, makes me go, because a green light means you go. And now I'm going to say green is all I know. So I wanted to make a little couplet at the end, and you'll notice that these two lines rhyme. We look at that last word in a line to see if it rhymes. Sometimes words can rhyme within a line. On the template, it says blank is my favorite color, But since green is not my favorite color, I just changed that line. You can change things around too, or you can write about your favorite color. Sorry that it's such chicken scratch here. That's our color poem. Then I showed you before my I am poem. I can't wait to read your poetry. Keep up all the great work. If you want to meet, reach out and have a wonderful day.